Imagine standing in the concrete tunnel at NRG Stadium down in Houston. I mean, the humidity is already bleeding right through the walls.
Oh, it is absolutely suffocating down there.
Yeah, it is. And the noise from, 70,000 fans is literally vibrating through the studs on your boots right now.
You can feel it in your chest.
Exactly. And you are exactly 3 minutes away from 90 minutes that will completely define the rest of your life. Welcome to June 13th, 2026, my friends.
The waiting is over.
It really is. Forget the gentle buildup, forget the civilized tactical diagrams on a calm Sunday morning. Today is the day the World Cup finally shows its teeth.
It really is the absolute threshold of the tournament. I mean, the margin for error has just completely vanished overnight.
Gone.
Yeah, completely gone. If you are tuning in looking for someone to just read you the schedule and give you the basic betting odds, well, you are in the wrong place today.
100%.
Today, we are breaking down the anatomical, the psychological, and the deeply tactical reality of 4 incredibly volatile fixtures.
Yes. And I am talking directly to you right now. The fans with the screens set up in the courtyards over in Nairobi, the WhatsApp groups going absolutely nuclear in Lagos.
The servers are probably melting right now.
They have to be. And the packed sports bars in Johannesburg and really everyone across the continent who is living and breathing every single touch of the ball today, you know exactly what is at stake here.
You can feel that electric tension.
You feel it right in your chest. And we are here to give you the ultimate, unfiltered, totally granular pre-match breakdown before kickoff. We are going deep today.
We absolutely have to. The narratives today are just way too complex for surface-level punditry.
Right.
I mean, we are analyzing 4 distinct stories of survival here. We have pure, unadulterated ambition colliding head-on with historical trauma.
It is massive.
And we have calculated European pragmatism stepping into the ring with just raw physical defiance. These are the matches that get managers knighted or fired before they even make it to the post-match press conference.
Fired in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I want to frame today's lineup for everyone listening, because we're not just walking through a standard table of contents here.
No, not at all.
Think of the progression today as a psychological descent into the absolute extremes of human pressure. I mean, we start with the sheer, terrifying unpredictability of a David versus Goliath clash in Houston.
The ultimate trap game.
Exactly. But from there, we strip away all the romance and drop right into a grueling, suffocating street fight in Kansas City.
Oh, that one is going to be brutal.
And then the entire continent of Africa is going to hold its breath for a monumental clash of footballing royalty against absolute ambition in Atlanta.
A historic fixture.
And hey, if your heart is still beating after all that, we finish the day in the literal and tactical swamps of Miami. It is a 4-course meal of absolute chaos.
And what fascinates me about this entire slate is that the tactical blueprints for all 4 of these matches, well, they're completely useless if the psychological foundations crack.
Wow, okay, unpack that.
Well, I mean, we can sit here and talk about formations all day long, but today is really about which set of 11 players can process fear and actually turn it into kinetic energy.
Okay, that is brilliant. But let's stop talking about the abstract and get straight out onto the pitch.
Let's do it.
We start the day down in Houston, Haiti. I mean, a nation that has defied mathematical probability just to step onto the grass today.
It is a miracle they are here.
It really is. And they are squaring off against Scotland. And I want to set the scene here for the listeners, because if Haiti represents the raw, unfiltered emotion of the unknown, well, Scotland represents an agonizing generational pressure cooker.
That is the perfect way to phrase it.
So what happens mechanically to a team when decades of suffocating historical pressure meet an opponent playing completely liberated, just 100% for a dream?
It completely alters how a team processes information on the pitch. I mean, you really have to understand the specific psychological burden that Scotland is carrying today.
Right, because it isn't just a regular game for them.
No, this isn't just about 3 points in a group stage. This is about the genetic trauma of Scottish football. Decades of World Cup droughts. The agonizing, almost.
Heartbreak.
Exactly. They face an absolute must-win situation here, and the weight of that expectation actually changes player physiology.
Really? It changes them physically?
Oh, absolutely. When a player is terrified of making the one mistake that sends their country home again, their muscles literally tense up.
Wow.
Their peripheral vision actually narrows. They take an extra half second just to release a simple pass.
So you're saying the historical pressure actually makes them physically slower on the ball?
Yes, exactly. It is incredibly well documented in sports science. Cognitive overload delays motor response.
That is fascinating.
So if you were a Scottish midfielder receiving the ball, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, if I lose this, the media back in Glasgow is going to absolutely crucify me.
Which they will.
They will. So you don't play the risky, incisive forward pass. You play the safe lateral pass. And when a highly technical team starts playing safe lateral passes, well, they just become completely predictable.
And their recent form perfectly reflects that exact hesitation. It is absolutely maddening to watch them sometimes.
It really is.
Because one week, they looked like absolute world beaters. They dominate possession, they counterpress brilliantly, and then the very next week, they just drop into this incredibly stagnant, frustrating rhythm against highly organized, much lower-ranked opposition.
And that specific inconsistency is the absolute breeding ground for tactical vulnerability.
Right.
And this is where we really have to get into the granular reality of today's specific matchup.
Yep.
Because Scotland is dealing with massive defensive absences today.
Yeah, that injury list is rough.
It is awful. They are missing their first-choice center backs.
And, you cannot just plug and play a center back at the World Cup level, right? This isn't a video game.
Exactly. A defensive line operates on this unspoken, almost telepathic communication.
You have to know what the guy next to you is doing before he does it.
Precisely. So when you disrupt that chemistry, you create massive, highly exploitable gaps, specifically in the half spaces.
Okay, hold on. For the fans listening right now who might not be, sitting in a UEFA elite coaching seminar, break down the half space. Why is that specific patch of grass so dangerous today?
Sure. So picture the football pitch divided into 5 vertical lanes, right from one goal to the other.
Okay, got it.
You have the 2 wide lanes out by the touch lines, and you have the direct center lane right down the middle where the striker usually operates.
Right.
The half spaces are those 2 vertical corridors sitting exactly between the wing and the center.
Ah, okay.
They are arguably the most dangerous areas on a football pitch because, well, a player receiving a ball in a half space isn't facing the sideline and his back isn't fully to the goal.
He has options.
Tons of options. He has a diagonal, full, 180-degree view of the entire attacking third. So when center backs lack chemistry, like Scotland today, they hesitate on who should step out of line to close down an attacker in that half space.
And at this level, 1 second of hesitation is all it takes.
1 second of hesitation, and the attacker turns and shoots, or slides a through ball right past you.
Okay, so to protect that glaring vulnerability, Scotland is going to have to drastically alter their entire midfield shape, right?
Precisely. They're going to rely almost entirely on Stuart Armstrong.
He has a massive job today.
He has to be the tactical glue today. He is usually their creative fulcrum, but because the back line is makeshift, he is going to be forced to drop 10 to 15 yards deeper than he normally would.
Just to protect the defense.
Just to babysit those center backs and offer a safe outlet pass.
But wait, if Armstrong drops deeper, doesn't that stretch the entire Scottish formation? The distance between their midfield and their strikers just becomes a massive canyon.
That is exactly the domino effect I'm talking about. If Armstrong is receiving the ball near his own penalty box instead of the center circle, well, the opposing defense doesn't have to worry about a through ball.
Right, he is too far away to hurt them.
Exactly. So Scotland's attacking shape effectively collapses into this giant U shape around the perimeter of the final third, and they become completely unable to penetrate the center.
And this right here is exactly where Haiti becomes the absolute nightmare scenario for Scotland today. Haiti arrives in Houston with almost 0 tape.
Very little usable data.
No recent competitive matches against elite European opposition. So how do the Scottish analysts even prepare for this game?
They don't. Or rather, they can't prepare with any real certainty.
That is wild to think about.
It is. Modern elite football is completely dictated by data. A team like Scotland is used to having thousands of data points on their opponent.
Right, they know everything.
They usually know the exact pressing triggers, the intricate passing networks, even the specific geometric angles the opposing fullbacks take when they track back.
And against Haiti,
they essentially have a blank spreadsheet.
That has to be absolutely terrifying for a manager.
It is completely paralyzing. It means Scotland cannot rely on pre-programmed tactical scripts today. They have to read the game organically in real time.
Which, as we just established, is incredibly difficult when you are playing under massive psychological tension and your muscles are tight.
Exactly. The brain is overloaded.
But look, I want to push back on this a little bit. We hear this romantic narrative all the time about the underdog.
The magic of the cup.
Right. Everyone talks about Haiti's, quote, intangible belief. And we absolutely love the story of the striker who grew up with nothing, carrying the hopes of an entire island nation on his back. It is a beautiful story.
It really is.
But let's be brutally honest here on the deep dive. Does intangible belief actually stop a highly drilled, technically superior European midfield from just passing you to death over 90 minutes? Or is belief just a comforting myth we sell to the fans for good television?
Well, belief is definitely not a myth when it acts as a physiological multiplier.
A physiological multiplier. I like that.
Because this isn't just about feeling good or being motivated. It is about actual adrenaline and cortisol in the bloodstream.
Okay, break that down.
When a player truly believes they are on a mission of destiny, their pain tolerance actually increases.
Wow.
Their threshold for lactic acid buildup extends. A player fueled by pure defiance will make a 30-yard recovery sprint in the 85th minute that a player motivated only by professional duty simply will not make.
They just find an extra gear.
They do. So Haiti's sheer intensity is going to manifest as extreme, relentless physical aggression.
Yes. And that intensity is exactly why this match matters so deeply to the fans tuning in right now from Kisumu all the way down to Cape Town.
Oh, the continent loves an underdog.
Absolutely. Because in African football culture, we intimately understand the underdog who completely refuses to accept the global football hierarchy. We don't just like giant killers on this continent. We absolutely revere them.
It is part of the footballing DNA here.
Exactly. Haiti represents that profound, deep-seated defiance against the European establishment. We want to see the established order completely rattled today.
And Haiti will rattle them early, I can promise you that.
So what is your call then?
Well, however romantic the story is, when we strip away the emotion and look at the raw mechanics, Scotland's technical superiority should eventually dictate the geometry of the pitch.
You think they just passed them out of the game?
I do. If Armstrong can just survive the initial physical onslaught in the first 20 minutes and establish a passing rhythm, Scotland can simply pass Haiti into exhaustion.
Make the ball do the work.
Exactly, because you cannot outrun the ball. Therefore, looking at the structural advantages, my prediction is a 2-1 Scotland victory.
2-1 Scotland.
Yes. They have the pedigree to suffer, to absorb that initial chaos, and eventually grind out a result through superior ball retention.
Oh man, I don't know about that. I hear your logic, I really do, but I think you are completely discounting the feedback loop of the Houston atmosphere.
The crowd will be a factor, sure.
A factor. NRG Stadium is going to be an absolute cauldron today. I mean, it is supposed to be a neutral venue, but let's not lie to ourselves here. Neutral crowds overwhelmingly adopt the underdog.
That is undeniably true.
Every single time a Haitian player wins a crunching tackle, that stadium is going to absolutely erupt. And every time a Scottish player takes a heavy touch, the groans are going to be deafening.
It will be an intimidating environment.
I am telling you, that atmosphere is going to create a wave of momentum that will completely paralyze that makeshift Scottish backline. You cannot simulate that in training.
Look, I concede that if Haiti scores in the first 20 minutes, the psychological burden we talked about will literally shatter Scotland.
They will completely crumble.
The panic will be visible on their faces. But over 90 minutes, a structured possession game is designed specifically to drain an opponent's adrenaline. They will slow the game down to a crawl.
We will see. I'm putting a massive asterisk on that 2-1 prediction of yours. But hey, we cannot linger on Houston because the pace of this tournament waits for no one. We are pivoting right now.
Let's move on.
If Game 1 in Houston is about the chaotic romance of the sport, Game 2 in Kansas City is about cold, unforgiving reality.
The knockout stages.
Exactly.
Right.
It is a completely different kind of underdog story. We are looking at Australia against the UEFA Path C winner in a brutal round of 16 clash.
The tonal shift here from the group stages is immense.
It is a different sport.
We are stepping completely out of the group stage mentality where, you can afford to calculate points and goal difference, and we are stepping into pure sudden death.
Win or go home.
One poor touch, one missed marking assignment on a corner kick in the 89th minute, and your bags are packed for the airport.
And for Australia, this match is really about validating an absolutely grueling journey to get here.
The hardest path in global football.
The Socceroos have navigated the Asia-Oceania qualification path, and honestly, people who don't follow that specific region do not fully understand the physical toll it takes on a squad.
The physical toll is completely unprecedented. I mean, we are talking about flying from Sydney to Kuwait and then turning around and flying to Tokyo.
The mileage is insane.
Playing in completely different climate zones in the same week, entirely different grass surfaces, and constantly battling massive circadian rhythm disruptions.
Just pure exhaustion.
The jet lag alone literally degrades fast-twitch muscle fibers over a qualification campaign.
Exactly. And that specific grueling journey forges a completely different type of underdog mentality.
Absolutely.
You know, they aren't relying on the chaotic, fiery adrenaline of Haiti. Australia is built on an unyielding, incredibly calculated, never-say-die grit. It is a true blue-collar resilience.
They know how to suffer.
They might be a bit inconsistent in their attacking flair, sure, but they are brutally consistent in their defensive work rate.
And tactically, that specific grit translates to extreme possession discipline in their own half.
They don't panic.
No, they are not a team that will blindly clear the ball into the stands the moment they get pressed by a European forward. They operate with a very rigid commitment to retaining their defensive shape, and they just wait for the opponent to overcommit.
But look, grit alone does not score goals in the knockout stages. You can defend all day, but you need execution in the final third.
You need a weapon.
And for Australia today, all roads lead to Ajden Hrustic. We really have to dive into his mechanics here. I mean, his open play vision is great, but his set-piece execution is going to be the absolute defining weapon in this match.
Oh, in knockout football, set pieces are not just bonus opportunities, they are absolute mathematical necessities.
Because the margins are so tight?
Exactly. When you are playing against a highly structured European defense that leaves literally zero space in open play, you have to bypass their shape entirely.
And Hrustic is the guy to do it.
Hrustic's delivery is elite because of the specific trajectory he puts on the football.
Break that down for us. I mean, what makes his free kicks so impossible to defend against a traditional European zonal marking system?
It really comes down to physics. It is the Magnus effect and topspin.
Okay, physics lesson, let's go.
So a lot of players try to hit the ball with pure power, or they try to bend it around a wall using the inside of their boot.
Like a classic Beckham free kick.
Exactly. But Hrustic strikes underneath the ball with a very specific abbreviated follow-through that generates massive topspin.
So it dives.
It dives violently. The ball travels upward over the first line of defense, looking like it's going out, but then it dips vertically into the corridor exactly between the goalkeeper and the retreating center backs.
Right into the danger zone.
And if a European team uses a highline zonal marking system, well, their defenders are forced to turn and run backward, facing their own goal, while tracking a ball that is literally dropping vertically out of the sky.
That sounds like a nightmare for a center back.
It is biomechanically impossible to generate jumping power while running backward. You are completely neutralized.
That is brilliant tactical insight. And waiting right there for that dropping ball is Mitchell Duke. His aerial dominance is going to be absolutely critical today for Australia.
He is a massive focal point.
He isn't just a traditional target man standing in the box. He is their primary escape valve.
Yes. Duke provides what analysts call the out ball.
The out ball.
Right. If the UEFA side implements a suffocating high press today, which we know they will, Australia doesn't have to risk turning the ball over by playing intricate, short passes just outside their own penalty box.
You just bypass the press entirely.
Exactly. They can just play a driven 40-yard ball directly to Duke's chest.
And he is so strong.
Even if he doesn't win the header cleanly, his sheer physical mass occupies two center backs at once. And that allows the Australian midfield to push up 10 yards, win the second ball, and instantly relieve all that defensive pressure.
But let's look at the other side of the pitch for a second. Because Australia is stepping into the ring with a true European heavyweight today.
A completely different animal.
The UEFA Path C winner has just survived the absolute centrifuge of the European playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, they arrive in Kansas City carrying immense, undeniable continental pedigree.
And you know, that word pedigree is not just a broadcasting buzzword.
No, it means something very specific.
It translates directly to spatial geometry on the pitch. The European side will counter Australia's raw physicality by turning the pitch into a massive, intricate grid of passing triangles.
They want to make the pitch as big as possible.
Exactly. They rely heavily on a central midfield orchestrator whose entire job is just to scan the pitch constantly, calculate the exact distance between the Australian defenders and manipulate them out of position.
Right. They absolutely do not want a physical, bruising street fight. They want a game of surgical precision.
They will happily pass the ball laterally 15 times in a row just to shift the Australian defensive block maybe 3 yards to the left.
Lull them to sleep.
And the exact moment an Australian fullback loses focus for a fraction of a second, gets frustrated, and steps out of line. Boom! The European midfielder plays the vertical through ball right into that newly created void. They are ruthlessly trained from the academy level to exploit the smallest spatial errors.
It is the ultimate clash of ideologies today. It's the sheer, bloody-minded willpower of the Socceroos trying to outlast the clinical, cold spatial engineering of Europe.
Fire versus ice.
And for everyone listening across Africa today, from the university dorms to the local dirt pitches, there is a massive amount of respect for Australia right now.
They are a very respected squad globally.
Because their presence here proves that football doesn't just belong to the traditional wealthy elite. African fans respect a team that builds its identity on relentless, grinding consistency.
On its football.
Exactly. We respect the hustle of a squad that looks at a European giant, a team with all the funding in the world, and simply refuses to blink.
It is a phenomenal narrative, I agree, but narrative does not dictate the physics of a football match.
You and your physics.
Let's look at how this actually plays out inside Arrowhead Stadium.
Oh, the noise in Kansas City is going to be absolutely deafening today. Arrowhead gets incredibly loud.
It will be loud, yes, but noise does not intercept a perfectly weighted European through pass.
Fair point.
Looking at the tactical data and the fitness metrics, I am predicting a 2-1 victory for the UEFA side.
2-1 Europe.
Yes, but I actually believe Australia will score first.
Oh, really?
I do. Their initial intensity, that blue-collar adrenaline, will probably overwhelm the European side in the opening 20 minutes. But ultimately, in knockout football, they will be undone by superior European conversion rates.
Okay, I have to challenge that assumption right now. Why is everyone in the punditry world so obsessed with this idea of superior European conversion?
Because the data supports it.
But if Australia scores first in that massive stadium, doesn't that incredible surge of momentum completely obliterate technical superiority?
Yeah.
I mean, when a team is throwing their bodies on the line to block shots and the crowd is roaring like a jet engine, technique kind of goes out the window, doesn't it?
No, that is exactly the trap of emotional punditry. You are assuming the European team will panic when they go down a goal. But let me explain the physiological reality of the 70th minute in a World Cup knockout match.
Okay, lay it on me.
Yes, momentum is powerful. But when an elite European side goes down 1-0, they don't abandon their structure. They don't start hoofing the ball long.
Let's just keep the ball.
They continue to probe. They make Australia chase the ball side to side. And right around the 70th minute, lactic acid begins to flood the fast-twitch muscles of those Australian midfielders.
The travel catches up.
Exactly. Their legs get incredibly heavy. Their defensive block, which was perfectly, beautifully compact in the first half, suddenly has a 2-yard gap between the midfield and the defense.
Because they physically just cannot close the distance quickly enough anymore, they are gassed.
Exactly. So technique does not fly out the window. Technique is the very tool designed to ruthlessly exploit a fatigued, emotional opponent.
That is brutal.
The European side won't need 5 chaotic chances to score. They will wait patiently for that 2-yard gap to appear, and they will execute with clinical precision. That is exactly why conversion dictates knockouts.
Wow. Okay, technique exploits a fatigued opponent. That is a brutal, sobering reality check for the Australian fans listening right now. But you know what? That is exactly why the game is 90 minutes long.
Anything can happen.
Now, everyone take a deep breath, have a drink of water, hydrate. Because we are leaving the grit of Kansas City behind, and we are elevating the energy to absolute maximum capacity.
Here we go.
We are heading down to Atlanta for the absolute showpiece of Group F. We are talking footballing royalty colliding head-on with the ultimate African ambition, Brazil against Morocco.
This is the heavyweight bout of the day, period.
It is massive.
This is the match that tactical analysts across the entire globe have been dissecting for months now. The implications for positioning within Group F are massive, and honestly, neither of these teams can afford to drop points today.
Let's start with the royalty. Brazil, the Celestão. I mean, they arrive in Atlanta carrying that incredible aura of inevitability.
They always do.
They have this terrifying attacking prowess coming off just a brutally dominant qualifying campaign. When you look at their front line, sometimes it feels like they are literally playing a different sport than everyone else.
Well, they look inevitable to the casual observer, certainly, but to a scout, they are actually carrying a massive, glaring vulnerability right now.
Tell me.
Brazil is dealing with critical injuries to key midfielders. And in modern international football, if your midfield pivot is broken, your entire tactical philosophy is deeply compromised.
Break that down for us. Why is the midfield injury such a catastrophic issue for a team that has so much unbelievable talent up front? I mean, they could just outscore you.
Because Brazil's entire defensive security relies on the spatial relationship between their number 6, which is the defensive anchor, and their number 8, the box-to-box engine.
The pivot.
Right. When Brazil commits 7 players forward in attack, which they love to do, that 2-man midfield pivot is the only thing standing between the opponent and the Brazilian center back.
It is the only shield they have.
Exactly. So if those replacement midfielders lack the organic chemistry to know exactly when to step up and counterpress together, Brazil will lose the ball high up the pitch and instantly face a lethal counterattack.
They get caught out.
Their transition defense is incredibly fragile today. It is their Achilles heel.
But my goodness, look at the firepower they still possess, even with those injuries. I mean, they have Vinicius Jr.
He is unplayable on his day.
We're talking about a player whose top-end sprint speed is genuinely terrifying, but it's actually his ability to decelerate that destroys defenders. He stops on a dime.
He snaps ankles.
And then you have Rodrigo, who just drifts into those little central pockets to provide the creative spark. I mean, even with the fragile midfield, Brazil's plan B is better than 90% of the world's plan A.
Individually, yes, they are unmatched. But they are stepping into a massive tactical bear trap today.
Let's dissect Morocco's masterclass here.
Let's do it.
Because Morocco is not here just to participate or make up the numbers.
Not at all.
They are the absolute pride of Africa right now, entering this tournament riding a massive wave of confidence from AFCON. They have very calculated, legitimate ambitions to go deep into this tournament.
They want the semifinals again.
And their defensive discipline is elite.
Elite is the only word for it. And it brings us to what I think is the most anticipated one-on-one matchup on the pitch today. Achraf Hakimi, squaring off directly against Vinicius Jr.
Oh, that is going to be special.
This is absolute box office material right here. Hakimi is arguably the best attacking fullback in the entire world, but today, his defensive body orientation and his recovery speed are going to be tested to the absolute limit.
That specific battle on the flank will dictate the entire geometry of the match.
How so?
Hakimi's primary objective today is not just to tackle Vinicius, it is to dictate his angles, force him where he wants him to go.
Exactly. When Vinicius gets the ball, Hakimi has to instantly adjust his body orientation to force Vinicius toward the touchline onto his weaker foot.
Keep him outside.
If Hakimi squares up too early, Vinicius will just shift his weight and explode into the inside channel. But here is the massive dilemma for Morocco today.
What's the dilemma?
If Hakimi stays pinned back just to defend Vinicius, Morocco completely loses their most lethal overlapping threat in transition.
That is a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
And while that intense chess match is happening out on the wing, you have Hakim Ziyech floating around in the half spaces, just waiting to provide that unpredictable, devastating final ball.
Ziyech is the trigger man today, because here is the undeniable truth about Brazil. They will commit bodies forward.
They always do.
It is culturally embedded in their footballing DNA. They simply cannot help themselves. They will push both fullbacks high up the pitch, leaving massive acres of empty grass behind them.
Wait. If Brazil pushes everyone forward like they always do, isn't that playing directly into the jaws of Morocco's transition game?
It is exactly what Morocco is praying for.
Wow.
Morocco will deploy a very compact mid-block today. They won't press Brazil deep in the Brazilian half.
They'll let them have the ball back there.
Right. They will wait until Brazil passes the ball across the halfway line, wait for a slightly heavy touch or a misplaced pass, and that becomes the absolute trigger.
The trap snaps shut.
The exact moment Morocco wins the ball, Ziyech doesn't even need to look up. He knows Hakimi is already sprinting into the 50 yards of empty space that Brazil just left behind. It is a terrifying, high-stakes game of chicken.
Listen to me right now. To every single fan listening to this broadcast, from the bustling, vibrant streets of Kibera to the busy avenues of Parklands, all the way to the shores of Lagos and the cafes in Cairo.
A whole continent is watching.
This is IT. This is the cultural magnitude of today. For decades, young kids kicking battered footballs on dirt pitches all across the continent have emulated Brazilian flair.
Everyone wanted to be Ronaldo or Ronaldinho.
Exactly. We all grew up idolizing the yellow and green.
Yeah.
But today, the heart of the continent beats exclusively for the Atlas Lions.
100%.
This is a massive defining statement game for Africa. It's no longer about just proving African football has potential. We are past that. It is about standing toe-to-toe with the kings of the sport, looking them dead in the eye, and dictating the terms of the match.
It is undeniably one of the most profound cultural moments of the group stages.
So who wins?
Well, as an analyst, I have to separate the emotion from the tactical probabilities.
Of course you do.
Looking strictly at the attacking metrics, I have to predict a 2-1 Brazil victory.
Oh, man.
I believe Vinicius's raw individual brilliance will eventually break the Moroccan block. However, and I mean this with absolute sincerity, I completely concede that Morocco's organizational structure is elite.
This is a chance.
If they execute that mid-block transition flawlessly, they could easily expose Brazil's makeshift midfield and steal a draw.
A draw? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you what happens if Morocco steals a draw against Brazil in Atlanta today. It completely flips Group F on its head.
It changes everything.
It changes the entire mathematical calculus of the World Cup.
Yeah.
The panic in the Brazilian media back in Rio would be absolute chaos.
Meltdown.
I am calling it right now. Morocco is absorbing that pressure. They are hitting on the counter, and they're getting a point out of this. The streets are going to go absolutely wild.
The margins are razor thin today. It really will come down to one single moment of either defensive brilliance or defensive failure.
My heart is literally racing just visualizing that counterattack right now. But hey, we have to press on. We are leaving the explosive noise of Atlanta and bringing the temperature down just slightly for a massive tactical pivot.
Let's cool off a bit.
Match number 4. We are heading down south, straight into the sweltering, oppressive tactical trenches of Miami. Qatar taking on Switzerland.
This matchup is a fascinating psychological study, honestly. You have two teams stepping onto the pitch today who are absolutely desperate to rewrite their global reputations, but they are approaching it from completely opposite ends of the footballing spectrum.
Let's start with the Swiss. I mean, cold, ruthless efficiency. That is truly the only way to describe their current tactical identity.
It really is.
They are hunting for consistency after years of just frustrating early tournament exits. But if you look at their recent form, it is absolutely terrifying. 8 wins in 10 qualifying matches.
Unbelievable run.
A defensive record that is basically an impenetrable vault right now.
They are the ultimate pragmatists of European football right now. I mean, they have completely abandoned the idea of needing to be entertaining.
They do not care about the highlights.
They only care about structural integrity. They keep the distances between their defensive line and their midfield line incredibly tight, never more than 12 to 15 yards apart.
Which just chokes the game out.
It completely suffocates the opponent's ability to play any passes through the middle of the pitch.
And the central figure orchestrating all of this defensive solidity is actually an attacker, the man who seemingly defies time itself. Xherdan Shaqiri.
The talisman.
I mean, how is he still performing at this elite level? With 14 assists in competitive matches since 2023, he basically operates as this undisputed creative wild card for them.
He really operates as a modern trequartista.
A traditional number 10 role.
Exactly. Because while the rest of the Swiss team is rigid and highly disciplined, Shaqiri is given the absolute license to roam wherever he wants.
He just floats.
He constantly scans for the little pockets of space that open up when the opponent gets frustrated and steps out of position. Every single dangerous Swiss attack eventually filters through his left foot.
And their pressing is brutal, by the way. They deploy this really aggressive, highly coordinated press, and when they win the ball back, they possess this cold, surgical finishing.
They waste chances.
No, they do not need to create 6 chaotic chances to score 1 goal. Give them 1 chance, and it's in the back of the net.
Exactly. Now let's pivot to Qatar, because they are fighting a completely different type of battle today.
A battle for respect.
Qatar is fighting an existential battle to prove they actually belong at this elite level on a neutral pitch, following what was a highly controversial and very disappointing 2022 campaign on home soil.
They had a rough time at home.
And the data is damning right now. They are struggling heavily away from their home stadium, registering only 4 wins in their last 7 international friendlies.
But they are not without weapons. We have to talk about Akram Afif.
He is a very dangerous player.
He is their absolute offensive engine. He possesses blistering speed, he is incredibly incisive cutting in from the wing, and he has that rare special ability to create something out of absolutely nothing.
He can turn a game.
But here's the philosophical question I really want you to unpack for the listeners right now. Qatar has this massive, unlimited, completely oil-backed infrastructure.
Endless resource.
Right. The Aspire Academy is state-of-the-art. The sports science is funded to the moon. But when you strip away the comforts of home, when you drop them in a neutral venue in Miami against an aggressive, battle-hardened European press, do they just fold?
It is the ultimate test.
Can unlimited financial investment actually buy organic knockout tournament resilience?
That is the multi-million-dollar question in modern football right there. And historically, the empirical answer is no.
Money can't buy grit.
Resilience simply cannot be manufactured in a pristine, climate-controlled academy. Resilience is forged in the mud, in sheer adversity, and in moments of absolute panic on the pitch.
When things go wrong.
Right. When a Swiss defensive midfielder is closing you down at a full sprint with bad intentions, the budget of your national federation does not slow him down.
Doesn't matter how nice your training kit is.
What matters in that microsecond is your spatial awareness, your first touch under immense physical stress, and your historical muscle memory of surviving high-stakes battles. And Qatar simply lacks the organic, generational muscle memory of suffering on a neutral pitch.
And you know, there's such a fascinating dynamic here regarding the fans tuning in today.
About who they are supporting.
Exactly. For everyone listening in Nairobi, in Accra, in Dakar, the overwhelming neutral support all across Africa is going straight to Switzerland today.
Which is interesting geographically.
Right. It has nothing to do with geography. It is because African fans inherently respect the Swiss underdog mentality within the brutal European hierarchy. We really respect their fast, direct, totally fearless style of play.
They are a very honest team.
They are. Qatar, on the other hand, well, they generate curiosity. I mean, people tune in to see if the expensive experiment is actually going to work, but there is zero emotional investment from the African fans. We respect the hustle on the pitch, not the bank account off it.
And the tactical reality of the matchup perfectly aligns with that sentiment. I predict a 2-1 Swiss victory today.
Another 2-1.
Yes. The Swiss defensive compactness is simply too elite for Qatar to break down consistently. They will isolate Afif out on the wing, they will systematically double-team him, and they will completely sever all his passing lanes to the central strikers.
Starve him of the ball.
Precisely. And as the match grinds into the final agonizing stages, Shaqiri's sheer experience in navigating those high-pressure tournament moments just becomes the ultimate tiebreaker.
So no hope for Qatar.
Well, Qatar might manage a goal on a quick, isolated break if Afif gets loose, but they do not possess the structural integrity to sustain pressure against a disciplined European bloc for a full 90 minutes.
I completely agree with the Swiss tactical advantage, but my friend, you are leaving out a massive, totally unpredictable variable here.
The weather.
Miami. The sweltering, oppressive, physically suffocating humidity of South Florida. This is the ultimate environmental equalizer today.
It is going to be brutal conditions.
I want you to think about the physiology here. When you are pressing aggressively for 70 minutes, and it is 90 degrees Fahrenheit with 80% humidity, your sweat literally stops evaporating.
Look, Ghani can't cool down.
Your core temperature spikes dangerously. Those older Swiss legs, and yes, even Shaqiri's legs, are going to feel like they are dragging through wet cement in the final 20 minutes of this match.
They will definitely fatigue faster.
So if Qatar can just survive the initial tactical onslaught until, say, the 75th minute, the climate itself might completely break the Swiss press for them.
Environmental physiology is absolutely a critical factor today. The wet bulb temperature in Miami fundamentally alters a player's VO2 max and their cognitive decision-making in the final quarter of the match.
It makes them sloppy.
It will severely test the Swiss manager's substitution matrix, absolutely. However, a highly disciplined European team does not simply run themselves into heat stroke blindly.
Do you think they'll adapt?
They adjust in real time, they will recognize the environmental threat early, and they will purposefully drop from a high press into a much more passive mid-block just to conserve energy, essentially forcing Qatar to try and break them down with the ball, which we already know Qatar struggles to do.
Man, the tactical chess match layered over the sheer physical survival of it all is just brilliant.
It's what makes the World Cup so special.
Look at the time. We are right up against the edge here. We need to wrap this deep dive up before the referees blow the first whistle down in Houston. What an absolutely exhilarating journey today is going to be.
It's going to be an unforgettable day of football.
4 matches. 4 completely incredible high-stakes stories of human pressure. 90 minutes each to completely alter the course of footballing history forever.
We've broken down the anatomical shapes, we've looked at the psychological burdens, and we've analyzed the tactical blueprints. But the true beauty of this sport is that now all the theories end, and the players actually have to execute on the grass.
They have to go do it. And to all the Kenyan, Nigerian, South African, and really all the fans across the continent locked in with us right now, this World Cup is yours.
Enjoy every minute.
Claim every single moment of it. Follow every storyline, debate every single tactical shift with your friends on the group chats, scream at the screens, and absolutely stay locked in with us for the massive, granular post-match breakdowns when the dust finally settles tonight.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to ponder as these teams walk out of the tunnel into the roaring stadiums.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've spent this entire broadcast dissecting the battle between technical superiority and sheer raw grit. We've talked endlessly about European pedigree versus underdog defiance.
Like the classic narratives.
But consider this. As global football tactics become universally accessible, as the manager of Haiti can download the exact same analytical software and passing network data as the manager of Scotland, are we rapidly approaching a future where the tactical gap between the traditional Goliaths and the organized Davids completely vanishes?
Wow, an even playing field.
If pure defensive organization and massive data analysis can eventually neutralize pure flair and historical pedigree, is the very soul of World Cup football evolving into something entirely new?
That is a deep question.
Something far more equal, perhaps, but maybe far more clinical and devoid of the chaotic giant killings that we love so much.
Wow, what a chilling, beautiful, and slightly terrifying thought to take into kickoff. The data is leveling the playing field, the gap is closing rapidly, and the ultimate test is about to begin.
It's time.
The 4-course meal is served, my friends. The pitch is ready. The world is watching. Enjoy the football.